podcast number 2 today.
No, yeah, well,
So we took Jess, who was filming it, and now she's one of the guests on
yes.
the podcast.
I needed some backup here, and we're going to start talking about moral compasses.
And what we were
how's that?
talking about, Mom, was NFL players getting all this money and how money changes the whole environment of someone's life, basically.
Correct. So here's my premise here is we have Jess, phenomenal, fantastic, and
Sound like Trump.
but I'm
Beautiful,
getting ready. I'm getting ready to go
She's
on
the
the
best.
attack. I'm getting ready to go on the attack. So what I'm saying is that when you are a young player, whether you're at the collegiate level, getting ready to enter into the NFL, and your level of where you're at as a collegiate player is you're not making any money, so you don't have any status. You're just a player with potential.
Sure, okay.
Once you become that NFL stud and you get a contract, you become much more attractive than you were as a college player with no credentials.
Of course.
So here's
Attractive
so
to who?
to every woman in America.
Okay, just wanted to specify.
And I hope not.
Well,
guys.
listen, why does the 90-year-old man, right, with billions and millions of dollars, all of a sudden have this young chick?
Okay,
Do you
but-
think the
Because he has
young
a boat.
chick,
But here's
'cause it
what we're
would
talking
even
about.
date him?
But here's what we're talking. We're talking about the moral compass of the young guy that grew up
These
with
cameras are on,
morals, right?
Yeah.
Oh no!
The
Well,
guy
here's
that grew up
here's
with morals.
the
So
the
I'm saying
question.
Here's
No,
a young kid. He's in college.
but wait,
he's
we
got
got to
morals.
preface it by
Go
saying,
ahead.
if you have a good moral compass,
So you're saying your
can that
foundation.
change with money? And I'm saying if your morals are intact and you're an intact human being, no, that's not going to change it.
Okay.
No amount of money?
So, Jess.
Well,
here's
then now we're
the- here's
splitting
the
hairs.
premise.
No, I really believe no
we're
amount of
splitting hairs
money.
because
No
an
amount of
NFL
money.
contract is
No
all
amount of
this.
money.
So, okay,
No.
hold on. Let me begin. So here's my premise. I'm a young kid. I've got great morals. I've got a fantastic foundation. So I'm standing tall and sturdy.
Okay.
I'm not bending with the wind. I
Sure.
am there through thick and thin.
Okay.
Right now, I don't have any money though.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just an average Joe. I get an NFL contract. I get a $10 million contract. Guess what? I just became really attractive. Not just in your eyes, in my eyes. I'm
But
really
this isn't-
attractive.
this
Why?
isn't the
Hold on.
conversation
No,
we're
no, no.
having.
I'm going to get to that. I became more attractive because what? I have more options now. Now I go to places that are more high end, and the women that are out at these places know that I am an NFL player. I have a big contract.
Mm-hmm.
I become more attractive. Do I allow the things that I'm now engaged in to change me? I say yes, because prior to that, I was nobody.
If you're married, though, Jess, this is what we're
Well,
talking
I'm
about.
20 years old. I'm definitely not married.
No. We
that's
were
different.
talking
All right.
about married. We were talking about married men, how that they can't control themselves because women are throwing themselves at them.
Okay, let me
And
change
I'm
the
saying
scenario.
if you really love your wife
Hold on, let me change the scenario.
and you have a moral compass, you're not doing it.
Let me change the conversation. Let me change
There's no
the
such thing
scenario.
as love.
So here we go.
Oh
So,
my God.
Jess.
This is gonna go. This is like a
you're not
throwdown.
you're not married, right?
I'm not married now.
You're
I'm seeing someone,
okay.
but I'm
I
not
bet
married.
you're not. You're just a person that is out there, right? You're out there. You're looking for options. You're an option trader, right?
I mean, I'm committed while I'm dating.
That's you're an option trader. If the better option comes by, then guess what? You're committed to
No,
the
she's
other
not
option.
saying
So-
that.
That's a good question.
I don't think so.
Why? Because
So hold on.
she's
So
not
let-
engaged.
so
She's an
no,
options
no, let me
trader.
ask you a question. So right now you have a boyfriend. Is it a
Yeah.
a serious boyfriend or just somebody that you're seeing?
No, we're pretty serious, but
Pretty serious. Does that mean committed or pretty serious?
well, I'm not seeing anybody else.
Does that mean committed?
She's committed. Yeah, she's committed.
Committed. 'Cause
She's
when I
committed to
asked
him.
you-
She's not seeing anybody.
I
else.
don't plan to see
Okay,
anybody
so what I'm
else.
saying is, if a better option walked into the room,
Okay.
right, and he
Uh-huh.
said, "Hey, Jess, I'd like to take you out, and this is what's about me," and he tells you a little bit about himself, and you go, he's a billionaire, and he seems interesting, he seems nice, okay. Or I'm seeing this guy who's okay, average Joe, he's making a decent salary, but there are better benefits over there.
There's
Do you
so
not,
much wrong with this
as
conversation.
Yeah.
as a woman, do you weigh that into your decision?
How much someone makes?
No,
You're-
no, no.
Yes, that's exactly
No,
what
no,
he's
not
saying,
just-
Jess.
hold on, not just
Exactly
how much-
what he's
Not
saying.
just how much they make. but the options that are available to you as a woman.
Well, it sounded like the only options that you presented to me was not just the fact that there would be another man, but that is another man with billions of money. That seems like the only other option.
He's a good guy.
Okay.
He's got a ton of cash, and you're married. You're dating a guy that his
Well, based
limit
on you, I
is
would say no.
100,000.
It
Because-
sounds very shallow.
Why is it shallow?
To leave someone that I'm like committed to for somebody else just because they have
No,
money?
no, no. I said he was a good guy.
Well, sure, but so
and
was
he
the
told
guy
you
that
about
I'm dating.
himself. Well, guess what? The guy that you dated before him was a
But-
good
but
guy,
Phil,
you
but
left him to
Phil,
go to that guy.
wait, no, but Phil, we were talking
you don't
about-
just leave somebody. Things happen.
Yeah, we were talking about players and the women that throw themselves at them,
Okay,
and how they don't have the
so
ability
let me go
to
that
say
topic.
no.
Let me go to that topic.
That's what you're
Okay,
saying.
so here, I'm an NFL player.
Okay.
I'm married. I got 2
Okay.
kids.
Yeah.
And a wife, right?
Yes.
2 kids and a wife, so I got a life.
Okay, so I heard some of the conversation that was transpiring while I was uploading the media, and what it sounded like was when you are in these situations, do you allow yourself to basically be influenced by what's around you, or can you like maintain your own morals? That's kind of what
Yes,
it sounded like.
that's
was,
it. That's
was,
it in a
was what you
nutshell.
were talking about.
Okay.
So I think my opinion is I was formulating while I was listening to you guys.
You got a timer too, by the way.
I
17
believe she
minutes.
does.
So I think it's a matter of where you choose to position yourself. If you are an NFL player making a lot of money, you can choose to go out to the clubs with those people who are your peers, or you can choose simply not to.
Can I ask you a question?
That's an ego feeder.
Can I ask you a question?
Let's get
Yes.
some
When you go
self
to the-
worth.
When you go to the car store to buy a car, right?
Do you test drive it?
don't
Don't even
agree.
say those words,
I'm not
Phil.
going to say test drive, but what I'm going to say
Phil?
is this.
Yeah.
Do you look at the option packages?
I mean, I don't
Then
want to
don't get
relate
married.
people
No,
to
hold on.
cars.
Then
Hold on.
lease.
No,
Then
no,
lease.
hold on.
Don't
I'm
finance.
Hold on. I'm asking you a question, and I need you to be honest with me.
But the women
So I
don't want
need
the
you
lease,
to
though.
be honest
They
with
want
me.
it locked up.
Okay.
But
So
there-
here's
but
my
They
those
thing.
want it locked up. They're on a schedule.
Do you look at a
Are they not?
options? I can get you the standard Ford, right? Or I can get you the high performance. Do you sit back and say, you know what? I
Phil.
think I'm going to be happy with the standard.
I think you're
When
generalizing.
the option,
So
no, I'm not,
generalizing.
a
because-
little too much.
No, because I'm not. Because when women have affairs, right? Women, men, they have affairs, right? Why do they have affairs?
It's not for money.
No.
It's
It's not for
there's-
money.
There's a
It
myriad
could
of
be.
reasons
Hold
in
on.
a lot of nuanced relationships
I'm
with
going
individual
to ask you
people.
this question. Why do women have affairs or men have affairs? Because there's something that's missing in the relationship that they're getting somewhere
no,
else.
Not
no.
necessarily.
Women have affairs.
kidding me?
It's emotional for women. Women have affairs because they're not
It's
getting the
emotional?
emotional.
What's it?
They're not getting what they need from their husband.
Wow.
A husband
Isn't that
has
what
an
I just said?
Wait,
A
wait,
man,
hold on,
no,
hold
a
on.
man
I just
has
said
an
that.
affair because it feeds his ego.
No.
Two different things.
What did I just say? I said when a
In
woman
general,
or
people.
a man has an affair, you're having an affair because you're getting something from that affair that you're not getting at home.
No, but Phil, but we're talking
That's-
about an NFL player with millions of dollars. He's only doing it because everybody likes him because he has millions. They don't like him because of him. So he's feeding his
So guess what?
insecurities.
So at that point in time, you should feed your insecurities because guess what? If you didn't have those millions, you would not have the opportunity to feed your ego. You wouldn't.
I don't think it's feeding ego.
Oh, it 100%. Do they think that these girls love them because of who they are, or because it's
No.
because they
So
have
hold on,
money and
you're
what they
telling me
do?
Michael Jordan's wife doesn't love him because he's Michael Jordan?
That's not what she's saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
She's talking about the women.
Okay,
in
so
the
here,
clubs.
groupies on the
yes,
side.
I'm going to ask you this. You have a boyfriend,
Mhm.
so-called.
I mean, I do.
So-called. I mean, he's not a permanent fixture, but he's a fixture.
Oh my God, are we going to get her in trouble over doing the 17-minute podcast?
I'm just saying, listen, hold on. That's my opinion, no
Okay.
one else's. It is not endorsed by Jess over here.
Thank
it's
you.
just my opinion.
Okay.
So what I'm saying to you is this, is that in your life, you're going to be presented with options. You're going to meet people that present you with options. You may meet somebody tomorrow. You may meet somebody at dinner that presents you with other options that you have. You will go home and you will weigh those options and make a decision.
So let me just say real quick, in your comparison to, cars and phones and people, I understand what you're getting at, but at the same time, like this idea of like best of the best, like the newest iPhone, the newest like car out there, like it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing to one person as it might to another.
It's relative.
At least in terms of people. Like, what is the best option in the room
Can I ask
could
you a
be
question,
for one
Jess?
person
Can
and
I ask you
not
a
for
question?
another.
This will solve this whole thing real
Sure.
fast. Who's the sexiest man in the world? In
Well,
your
Paul
eyes?
Rudd, because he was just nominated.
In
sexiest
your
man.
in your eyes, not in anybody else's. Who's the sexiest man in
Mom's
the world?
thinking.
In your eyes, who is? Just name me that guy.
Oh gosh, I mean,
You can ask her if he came in
No,
front of
no,
her and
no,
asked
hold
her. I
on,
know,
don't
I know
say
where
a
you're
word.
going with this.
Just answer the question.
Bradley Cooper.
I mean, I think all of our minds just go naturally
No,
to
no, no,
celebrities.
no, no. Who is the sexiest guy? I don't care if we don't even know who the hell he is. Just name me the sexiest guy in your mind. That's the sexiest guy.
Well,
that you-
I mean, I feel like I should say my boyfriend, but also.
But guess what? He didn't come in your mind as the sexiest guy.
I mean, I was just gonna say I appreciate how David Boreanaz has aged, and I think he's rather
Okay, so
sexy
no,
and
no, no.
charming.
So I'm gonna ask you this. So David, what is his name?
David Boreanaz.
Boreanaz.
Yeah,
Wow,
he
I
was
don't even know
Angel
who he is.
in
I
the
didn't know
Buffy
who-
series.
I didn't,
Okay,
I didn't,
all right.
okay, I didn't watch Buffy, but
He was
guess
also in
what?
Bones.
So yeah, well, I didn't watch Bones either. But
That's
David
fine.
Boreanaz. So if
Close.
David Boreanaz came up to you and you went out and you met him, would you leave him for your current boyfriend?
No, he's also
Why?
in a very committed relationship.
Hold on, let's see.
He's
there-
married.
Hold on, see,
Because
there's-
some things are
no, no,
better
no,
left
here-
in
no,
your
hold on.
fantasy,
Correct,
Phil.
yeah, here's the problem. What I'm asking her, I didn't mention whether the guy was married, single, divorced, separated. I said if he came up to you, then all of a sudden you went into protection mode to say, hey, let me put the scenario that he's in a committed relationship, he's married, so it would never happen. I'm saying if you did not know his situation and he came up to you and he's the sexiest guy, you're going to sit back and tell me, you're going to go, well...
I mean, if I'm still in a committed
Oh,
relationship
well,
in this,
I'm
yes.
in a committed no, because
Yes.
most people
Well-
would sit back and teeter-totter back and forth, and they would have to justify it in their minds. Whether or not you love the person you're with, you're still gonna tinkle with
We
the
gotta be-
idea
Yeah,
of
but you got to make
what
sure that.
would it be if I went with that guy.
So for
Because
2
he's your
hours, you're going to
fantasy.
ruin your marriage, your family, and everything else.
How many people have?
That
Oh,
doesn't
I
mean
don't
that
know.
it's
How many
right.
people have?
I mean, I think what you're trying to get at is that it's very easily.
So you
you
wouldn't-
can very easily be influenced.
So
by
what I'm
things.
saying is you would not
Because we
be
gotta bring up
tempted.
environment and substance.
You would
Right.
not- you would not
Past
be-
traumas.
No,
like,
no, no. Would you be tempted to think or to ponder whether or not that guy that you say is the sexiest guy you...
I would just be flattered and then
Sure.
move
No, because
on.
guess what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna, as a man, Miss America comes up to me and says,
No, Venezuela.
Miss Venezuela,
We spoke about this.
Miss Venezuela comes up to me and says, hey, Phil, you know what? I want to talk to you. Guess what? My ego.
That's my
ego,
point.
Yeah.
As a man,
just
hold
said it.
on. But what I'm saying is
You're a
my
lawyer.
ego as a man is going to sit back and say, okay, that's an option.
Honestly, I have to say that the whole point is kind of irrelevant because honestly, it would never happen, right? We're going
How
to
do you know?
Well, because we're going to these extremes.
No, you don't
Miss
know
America, the sexiest
Okay,
man
so hold on.
alive, like a
No,
lot
no,
of
no, no,
tropes
hold on.
that are just
You-
never really going to happen.
Jess,
But wait,
you
Jess,
don't
I gotta
know
let
that.
Jess finish
She doesn't
because
know
Jess has a great point. Because when these NFL players are at the bar, Miss America's not coming up to them. The average hot little girl that's at the bar is coming up to them.
Okay, so guess what? Jess is the hot girl at the bar.
Okay.
And he goes, hey, how are
I
you?
probably honestly wouldn't even know who he was because I haven't been watching NFL in a while.
But guess what? He's going to let you know who he is.
Okay, go for
And
him.
that's an
And guess what?
insecurity.
So
Yeah.
here's what I'm
If
saying.
someone,
That's
no,
an
Let
insecurity.
me just say, if someone comes at me like that, like, oh, I'm like this hot shit kind of guy, and I've got billions
Turn
of
off.
money, and yeah, thank you. Like,
It's a
Turn
turn
off.
I have
No.
a story about that.
Yes.
I was in an environment where I saw the opposite of what you guys just said.
Yes, because he's secure with himself.
Him in my book, he went through the roof because like seeing that firsthand, how he was the opposite, not saying who I was much more special than
It's
saying
much
who I
So
was.
more
all I'm
special.
saying is this, Jess, is that I don't care if you're an ordinary Joe,
okay.
right? You could be in a regular relationship, and you're just an ordinary person, and I catch you out at the bar, and we connect on whatever
That's
level.
different.
No, we connect at whatever level, but you're in a committed relationship, and we connect at whatever level. At the end of the day, you are going to think You're going to weigh your options as to, hey,
Are we
do
talking
I-
a one-night stand, or
No,
are we talking a relationship?
No, we're talking. You're going to weigh your options as to whether engage with me in further conversation or to cut it off right then and there.
Cut it
Well,
off.
Because
Yeah.
you are in a relationship. Now
Cut
you
it
can
off.
sit back and tell me. You can tell me that you're going to cut it off right there, and I sit back and I will debate with you until I have no breath left in me.
Then I'll leave.
That
Wait
that
Wait a second.
is
Wait a
not
second,
the truth.
Phil. I have been in or married, right? And a guy has tried to buy me a drink, and I said no, thank you, because why would I even set myself up for that? And yes, it's happened. Why would I set myself up for it?
I think also, to add to her point, earlier in your other podcast with Mike Adams, you were talking about how self-discipline over time can become like consistency.
But that's
right?
self-discipline to your craft,
Right, sure, but I think you
not
need.
to your desires. That's to your
Oh no,
craft.
you absolutely need self-discipline to your desires, because if
No,
I
not all the time.
Oh,
because
yes, you do.
sometimes
Oh my
we're,
God,
we're
you do.
weak. No, because we're weak.
All right,
sure,
Phil's
we're
for
weak,
sale,
but-
everybody.
We're
No, I
I
mean-
mean, as humans we are weak, but that doesn't make it okay. Like you shouldn't just justify your weaknesses and give in to them because we're human and this is just how it is.
No, but yes, what I'm saying is you're not being honest with yourself.
I think I
Oh
am.
no! Listen,
Hold
listen.
on.
I can tell
listen.
you right hand to God
You're not being honest with yourself.
that I
Because
No,
all I'm saying
I'm
is
sorry.
That, guess what? You can be in a committed relationship. Women that have been married for 50 years have left their husbands
For a
because
host of
there
reasons.
was a twinkle in the eye.
why get
That's
married
not-
then?
It's
Guess what? Because you get married for the ideals of what marriage is for. And guess what? Once you're married, are the ideals always? Do they always pan out to what you thought they would
No,
be?
that could just be
They
a
don't.
marriage going bad. That doesn't mean if you love somebody and you're in a committed relationship, either lease the car or buy the car. If you're gonna just try and test drive everything, keep leasing.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on, Mike.
Keep listening.
Why do they always say if you can
was thinking about
get the milk from the cow without buying the cow, take the milk?
okay.
Yeah, as long as you
Am I
don't.
wrong?
As long as you don't have a cow at home.
Well,
As long as you don't have a cow at
If
home.
you can get the milk without buying the cow, why buy the cow?
As long as you don't have a cow at home.
It just
I'm
honestly
being
sounds
very
like there's a
silent
lot
on this
of.
podcast
If
for
you
a
bought
reason.
if you bought the cow and you have a cow at home, then you shouldn't be.
But what I'm saying
Sounds like
is
commitment
you are
issues.
no. It's
It
not-
does.
no,
Thank
no,
you.
It-
No, it
I
doesn't sound.
think you should have a lease with an option to buy at the end.
I mean, then you shouldn't be
That's
dating
called
anybody.
engagement and then marriage.
Well, yeah.
Well, what he's saying though is sometimes that lease
Oof.
is running toward the end of the lease, and you're finding out that there are issues with the lease.
Well, then,
That's
then
So
you
you're
either
looking
work
at
on
a
that
new
or you
lease.
separate.
But what I'm saying,
Yeah,
No,
but
you
you're
don't start
saying
looking at
it's
other
done
people.
only because of who they are in money. You're not even saying that the marriage or the lease is
What
up.
I'm saying is
You're
that
saying
at
that they don't have the willpower to not sleep with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes up to them
At the-
because of who they are and the money that
no,
they have.
Yeah.
here's what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, I'm worth $10 billion, right?
And
$10 billion.
that's a lot of money.
Billion
Okay.
dollars, right?
That
Hey,
does
hold on.
not
No.
affect me.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm worth $10 billion, and you don't even know that I'm worth $10 billion, right?
Okay.
But I see you out at the bar, and I engage in conversation, and you're a little intrigued, but you have a boyfriend.
Okay.
But you're still a little intrigued
Sure.
because we're engaging in conversation, right? Now you happen to find out a little bit more about me, and guess what? You're more intrigued, not just because of me and our conversation, but you're more intrigued because there could be more that could be accessible to you.
I don't just want a
in the
sugar
long
daddy.
run.
Just
I
to
didn't ask
say.
you for a sugar daddy.
That's
I
kind of
didn't
what you're
ask you
making
for-
it
no,
sound
I
like.
did not
No,
ask
when you
you-
get to my age, you want the sugar daddy, not your age.
What I'm
I
saying,
mean, I'm kind of just I'm just personally, like, as someone who's trying to run and operate their own business and like working day to day and like trying to make money, I would just wonder how you got that money and what I can do to get there. Not just can I be with you
Love
to
her.
get that
Love
money.
Thank you.
And what I'm saying
Mike,
to
you're
you-
out.
and-
Mike, you're done doing this
And,
podcast.
and what I'm saying to you is that at the end of the day, you are going to weigh your options.
But no, wait.
as
But
to
this
whether
isn't what
to
we were
stay
talking
where
about.
you're
We
at
were
I
and
talking
move
about an
forward.
ability to withhold only because of who you are and
Hold on.
seriously.
Chris, you have a brother that's playing in Division I football, right?
Correct.
I know the family, built on a great foundation, great morals, great human being.
Go on.
But at the end of the day, he is a young man. And as a young man, I don't care how well you believe that you know his morals and
So you're
foundation
telling me that
and
girls,
belief.
men cannot be.
No, what I'm saying is this, is that when he becomes that star, he will have so many more things available to him at his reach. He will not be the same kid that he was
I'm sure not.
prior.
I'm
So,
sure he
his
wouldn't. But he
morals
wouldn't
and
get married and
values-
cheat.
His morals and values, you cannot say that because his morals and values will change based on the situation and the circumstances.
I
that
don't
he's put
believe
in.
you can change your morals based on money. I don't, because money's relative, Phil.
No, it's not.
It is.
I think it
What's
can
enough to
change
one
person to
person is not. Is
So
right.
what I'm saying is this: if I know that Hugh Hefner, hell, he
You
had,
guys, please comment on this. I
he
want to
had-
hear what
hold
everybody
on.
thinks.
Hugh Hefner had money, right?
Oh, and they loved him because
And guess
of who
what? Guess what? He had anyone he wanted, and now all of the girls had options to say, you know what, Mr. Hefner, I have a boyfriend at home,
You're talking
and I want to stay with him.
Or
And
maybe
he said,
there's-
hey, you know what? You can have a boyfriend at home, or I can give you $1 million. You can have access to all of this. And you know what most of them said? Goodbye. I'll take access
Birds
to
of
all
a
this.
feather
and I'll
flock
give
together.
I'll take $1 million. I'll take the $1 million and the access to this because what? It provides me with options to my life that will change and alter the start and finish of where I am.
Do you have any factual evidence of that scenario? Like,
Yes, I do.
you know somebody that did
Yes,
that?
I do. Okay, I don't talk without knowing. I talk based on
Was it
knowing
one
the
person?
answer before I ask
Was
the
it
question.
one person or a lot of people?
More than one. How's that? I'm not going to give out names or locations, but more than one person.
Okay.
And all I'm telling you is that if you want to be honest with yourself, here's honesty. And honesty is this, is that you have to strip yourself down to being naked, look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is who I am, and these are the things that I can accept. These are my faults, and these are my insecurities. And these are the
Everybody has
things-
faults.
And these are the things that I can't change. But when we dress up, what do? We cover. So you can tell me one thing because we want to cover. And we want people to have a perception of us as to what we want to be.
I think that's true to a certain extent, but I think like everybody is different, and just because like certain group of people do something doesn't mean that everybody's going to do something.
I'm not saying everybody,
similar.
but I'm saying the majority.
Well, you're kind of lumping
I'm
us
saying
in with
I'm not
you
saying
know,
the majority.
these women who have made these choices,
And-
and everybody is making different choices.
And you're making us feel
So,
like because we say we wouldn't, that we're not really taking a hard look and being
All I'm
honest
saying is
with
that
ourselves.
Right.
You women are not always being completely honest with yourself.
You women.
No, I'm sorry. You women.
I think we are being honest with ourselves. I think like
Make sure there's no sharp objects over there. Or...
I mean, listen.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to you the
So-
way I'm gonna give it to you the way that I see it, and I think that sometimes you just have to be honest enough with yourself
Okay.
to look in the mirror and say, "This is the truth, and this is what I want other
Listen,
people to believe."
No, listen.
I
It's
don't
it's
want
flattering.
other people to
It's
believe. I want the
flattering.
truth.
It's flattering, and there's opportunity. Doesn't mean you act on it, because I couldn't live with myself.
Mhm.
That's the whole thing, Phil.
It's been going on like that since the beginning of the time, though. How many women are married to men that they don't even like?
But then they should
How
have
many-
gotten
oh,
married.
100. Then
Chris,
then get
I want
divorced.
I want your perspective on this. How many women do you think in America are married to men of
A
high
lot.
position
Oh,
and money
yeah, no.
that they don't even like? They're appalled by their
More
presence.
often
That
than
doesn't
not.
mean that
More often
everyone
than
is
not.
Okay,
going
so
to
but what I'm
make that
saying is,
decision.
you choose to put yourself in a situation that is to your
Wait
advantage.
a second. How many times do women meet, date, and marry a guy who's not even wealthy yet? Love him to death. As they get older, and now maybe he's worth millions, still is then becomes disgusted. So it's not about the money.
Or-
There's a lot of women
Yeah.
that move up the ranks with their husbands. Once they get to a certain status, they may not like him.
I'm just saying.
Or sometimes you marry somebody and come to understand more about them later on if, you know, they reveal their true colors
Okay, guess what?
later
Jeff
on.
Bezos.
That
So
happens too.
Jeff Bezos, right? Wealthy, one of the wealthiest men in the world,
Sure.
right?
Not enough vodka in the
Hold
world.
on. Not one of the most wealthiest men in the world.
Yeah.
Okay,
Who's
he
the other
stayed.
guy? Microsoft.
He stayed with his
Bill
wife
Gates.
until when?
I don't know.
Until he found a different option. Bill Gates.
Oh, come on.
Guess what?
Listen.
He stayed. He was a nerd. He was the guy that glasses.
I
Hey,
don't
that
care
was his
how much
girlfriend.
money he has, Bill Gates. I couldn't, if you paid me all that money. There's not enough vodka in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's
I honestly
you.
stopped
But
buying
what
from
I'm, hold on,
Amazon.
what I'm saying is, that's you. There are
Right, that's what we're saying.
But you're
thousand
telling me
That's
I'm
what
not
we're
being
saying.
honest.
There
But you're
are
saying I'm not being
1,000
honest.
other women that would flock to Bill Gates' bedroom door
Yeah.
to be allowed in that bed.
Good for them.
And what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, you can sit back and tell me that you wouldn't ponder the idea, and that's fine. But I just don't believe that that's reality.
Okay.
I don't care who you are or what you do.
So-
You might not act on it, but don't tell me that you wouldn't ponder it.
This was once a weight loss podcast.
Yeah, we've just lost control.
You would ponder
I love
the
it.
idea, but you
So-
might not act upon
Everybody
it, but
may
you would
ponder. You can have thoughts, but acting on it is different.
Yes.
I don't mean that we keep cutting you off. Go ahead,
No,
Jess.
it's okay. Well, okay, I do have to get going, but I
Yeah.
will just like end with so part of my perspective and the difference that I feel like I can share is just that what you're saying with everybody having like a moral compass, right? I do believe that people have a moral compass and are susceptible to either upholding it in a good way or succumbing to it in a bad way or less desirable way if you're following your selfish ambitions for a lot of things. I personally am a Christian, and so for me, I choose to follow, what Christ says. And for me, that, he's immovable and has like the same kind of moral compass day to day. For a person, I could wake up, my moral compass could be different one day as opposed to the next day.
And here's the opposing argument to that, is that you're a Christian and you have your beliefs and your morals and your faith.
Right.
And how many Christians and ministers and preachers have succumbed to their...
I'm not talking about that.
No. What I'm saying is, you can succumb to yours. What I'm saying is, on the
I'm not
large scale of
following
things,
Christ.
we've seen the guys that are called the messengers of God. Billy
They're
Graham.
hypocrites. I
Hold
know
on.
a lot of
Billy
people that
Graham
live by God
are
and
the
they're-
messenger of God. I'm going to tell you how to live your life, be the best person you can be. But guess what? I got a prostitute on the side.
Well, if
So
he's
what I'm
following his
saying-
own moral
so all
compass
I'm
at that
saying is
point.
Right.
When you tell me that you have a set
Chris,
of principles and
you can hear
guides and a principle that you live your life by, there are 1,000 people that say the same things, but the moral leaders of your communities may not lead the lives that
But
you
that
believe
you
they
can't-
are.
And I don't agree with those moral leaders, and I don't
Right.
think that they're leading as a morally Christian way.
So I'm going to end on this question. Are you 100% honest in life, or do you distort the truth?
I try to be as honest as
No.
possible.
I didn't leave that option on the
No
table.
one says 100. Everyone
No.
tells
I
little
didn't
lies.
I didn't leave that option on the table. See, there's a difference.
I mean, a lot of people have told me that I'm honest to a fault.
I'm asking you, are you 100% honest, or do you distort the truth to what you need it to be? So are you honest? When you say you're honest to a fault, that doesn't mean that you're honest all the time. It means that you are honest when you need to be honest.
No, I want to be
So
honest
I'm
all
saying,
the time.
are you honest all the time? Do you tell the truth all the
I
time?
feel like you haven't
or-
met anybody like her.
No, I have. That's my point. Everybody that says they're 100% honest, they're not. Because you can't tell me that you're 1,000% honest every single second of your life.
I mean, does
You're not.
sarcasm count? Because we do live in North Jersey.
No, I'm asking. Are you
Good question.
Are you honest all the time? Do you tell your? Listen, I don't want to. I don't listen. I want your relationship to stay intact because I think you're a phenomenal person, and I think whoever has the pleasure of spending time with you should enjoy
Yeah,
it.
we don't even know who your
And
boyfriend
they-
is, but he
and
better
they-
put a ring on it,
Couples
buddy.
therapy, just go to therapy.
and they should.
Or opposite.
I know.
No. What I'm saying is, whoever you're spending time with, I think that he should feel as though he is in good hands.
A millionaire.
Right?
You
He's in
should
good
make him
hands
feel like a
because
millionaire.
You sound like
Because then you'll stay.
you sound like the prodigal son. that says everything that's the right answers all the time. I'm just saying.
Well, the prodigal son actually like left home, trashed his whole life, took all of his dad's money, hung out with prostitutes, and then came back. That's who the prodigal son is.
Was he an NFL player?
And what I'm asking you is, are you not the prodigal son at all? We all are.
I mean,
We all
yes,
are.
yes, I think we all
Okay,
are
so
at
guess what?
times.
We
Yeah.
all
Different
are.
Yes.
degrees.
Yes.
No, so that what that means is we're not always honest all the time. We're honest when we choose to be honest at the times that we need to be honest to the people that are most important in our life.
Right, because to support that idea too, as a Christian, I do believe that we live in a broken world, and in that broken world, there is like sin, which encompasses lying and
Yes,
disease
because at the highest
and
levels, right? We have priests that engage
Yeah, but
in
no, but
things
that
that
does, you
are-
can't
are-
talk to that. She's talking about Jess.
Did break one of her promises.
What?
She stayed past
70. She's got to
yeah,
go.
it's 31 minutes
Well,
in.
you know what?
I
Jess,
told you, Jess. I told you.
I know.
Here's all-
I actually have to go make dinner for my boyfriend.
Well, listen, whoever the boyfriend is, right? All I'm gonna say is this: you're a lucky guy.
He's
You
a
have
lucky guy.
A committed woman that is willing to walk away from the podcast, go home and make you.
What are you making?
dinner.
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Yeah.
And listen,
Okay.
and he's going to think she's lying when she says, I got caught up in a podcast. He's not going to believe this until
You have
it
to
drops.
send me the photo.
But guess what? All I'm saying is this, Jess. You take this with you and you think about it.
Okay.
And the next time that we cross each other's paths, you tell me whether I was lying or telling the truth.
I don't know
You're
anymore.
gonna see him at a bar and run the other way.
Okay?
I think there's like
Phil, did
snippets
you hear
of
me? I
truth
don't
in
know
what you're
anymore whether you're
saying.
lying or
So
telling the truth.
here's what I want you to take with you. I just want you to take this with you. That in order to be who we believe we are, we need to be that 100% all the time. We can't do that. It's impossible. Because we care about the people that we're around and the people that we're involved with to be honest 100% all the time. It's an impossibility. You can't do it.
I don't
How
know.
did this
I don't
go
know if
from
that has to do with
honesty
honesty.
No, I'm telling you that
Well-
it's not, you cannot, you just said, yes, I'm honest. And I'm telling you, no one can be honest all the time.
I do think we have to
all
make
lie
space for other people and like bend and shift
because
and
we
shape.
have to look out for everybody else.
Sure, yeah. And in
You
that,
can't
I
sit
think
there
we should
and go,
be honest.
Boyfriend, you know what? I thought about that NFL player, but I came home to you.
Well, I think that's fine to talk about.
That's not lying. That's keeping your thoughts to yourself.
That's lying.
But if you have a good relationship, you should be able to talk about those things. But I have to go.
Yeah, we're out. Bye, Phil. Love you, Phil.
This is a bonus episode. We'll drop
Bonus
this.
episode. We'll
know
just
what?
drop it.
Jess?
And maybe Phil meets an NFL player. He won't be here next week.
Wow! I completely turned sides.